San Francisco against the Rams, a 44.5-point over-under. This feels, Tom, like this could be a really, really exciting matchup that you want pieces of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these divisional matchups have always been fun. I think, obviously, the Niners look set for another deep playoff run this year. The Rams, I'm still not convinced that the Rams don't end up in the mix for a wild card spot because the NFC is just so bad. What people saw last week was a much pluckier, much more interesting Rams offense than expected. I think this will be a much sterner test. You know, you look at what Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, Tyler Higbee are going to come up against in the Niners defense. It's far more difficult. Kyren Williams, I mean, hey, try telling people all off season that Kyren Williams was going to be more of a problem for Cam Akers than people wanted to hear. And then Akers, yes, he ended up with 22 touches, but he got 12 of them in the fourth quarter. He had 29 yards total on 22 touches. Meanwhile, in the first half, Kyren Williams outtouched him 26-4. If any of the running backs are going to have any value from the Rams side this week, it's going to be Kyren Williams when the Rams are in hurry up, having to, come from behind. And it seems that Kyren Williams has the passing down role. So I don't mind starting him. I think if you've gone out and if you spent a huge amount of your waiver bid on Puka Nacua, as we've seen some crazy ones. I've seen high stakes leagues where he went for 100% of waiver bids and stuff like that. So if you did that, then you've got to have enough faith in him to start him right now. In terms of the Niners side, CMC, I was a little bit off CMC at times this offseason because I thought Elijah Mitchell might play. You know, we saw last year that even in games where CMC was there, Elijah Mitchell had games where he'd come in and he'd take some snaps. That just didn't happen last week, which is making me feel slightly nervous. Deebo, he had 2 deep targets. It seems like he's kind of back to playing wide receiver in a pure wide receiver way, as well as mixing in for those occasional rushes. Brandon Ayuk absolutely looks completely legit. So George Kittle, I mean, we've been out on him all off season. I just worry about him. He played 46 of 66 snaps last week, and he can probably have success against this Rams defense. Maybe you can mix him in for a DFS lineup, but if you're starting him in redraft, I'm definitely looking to add somebody behind him so I start finding that parachute for when I need to get out.
Yeah, I think the thing you've brushed over there, Tom, watching the film, this might be the most impressive game I've ever seen Matt Stafford play, which feels slightly hyperbolic from a guy that had one of the best playoff runs and was an absolute superstar and has had some phenomenal games. What he did last Sunday was absolutely mind-blowing. He was incredible. I can't speak highly enough. And I think that, yes, Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua were fantastic and, they're great and hopefully they can continue. But to me, I'm more excited about this entire Rams offense moving forward because of what Matt Stafford did last week. If he can continue that on, we've got up on the screen here his next gen stats. You can see he was spreading the ball all over the place. He had over a 13% big time throw rate according to PFF. It was absolutely mind-blowingly good.
But he's moving so well as well, isn't he? Like, he looks slimmer. He's moving around nicely. He's getting the ball out and he's throwing in those no-look passes. Like, Matthew Stafford's ADP never made sense this offseason unless you really thought he was going to end up retiring mid-season. And that just isn't what most of these compares do when the ball actually gets into play. Like, I'm still hopeful that this Rams offense can keep churning over. So by week 5, we'll get Cooper Kupp back because I definitely need it.
Yeah, I think you and I both need it. A couple of questions in the chat, Tom. So ZU's, I have Tua, Richardson, and Watson at QB. He basically needs an extra roster spot. He could cut Richardson or Deshaun or make a 2-for-1 trade of Hollywood and Swift for Nacua. It's a 1-quarterback league. To me, in a 1-quarterback league, there is no way that I'm holding 3 quarterbacks. So I think you can probably cut 2 of them. The fact that you've got 3 good ones, I think, probably shows that there's going to be some good ones on the way to wire next week. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's it's not something I ever do apart from when there's bye week concerns. And I think Anthony Richardson has a week 14 bye or something like that. Deshaun Watson's might be a week 5 or 6. So you could weigh them in slightly, but I'd be fine keeping either Tua.
I'd start Richardson this week. So for me, I'd cut Tua and Watson and just roll with that.
Yeah, I think it's tricky. I'd probably lean towards Richardson, Tua, and Watson in that order. I'm still not convinced outside of Watson's rushing ability that we've seen him really look completely dynamic yet. In terms of a trade or make a 2-for-1 trade, Hollywood and Swift and Nakua. That's two players in bad situations, possibly going out to get Nakua. You just have to be comfortable that if Kyler Murray does come back and Marquise Brown ends up being much more fantasy relevant and Nakua's season tails off with Cup coming back, you have to be comfortable with that. But I don't hate it, particularly if you're just looking to move players off your roster rather than keeping those clogs.
Yeah, I don't love that trade. I'll be honest. I feel like it's moving deck chairs on the Titanic, quite frankly. And then the next question: do you think I should try a trade of giving up Garrett Wilson, Etienne for AJ Brown and Ramondre? He also has Mixon, so he probably wouldn't do that. To me, Ramondre better than Etienne, AJ Brown better than Garrett Wilson. This is an absolute smash.
Yeah, 100% agreed. And yeah, if you're here and if we've been answering your question, make sure you hit that like button down below.